Hey guys, and welcome to our very first Back to the Basics training. I wanted to welcome you guys and let you know that this is kind of what we will be dealing with. A short video that will come from myself or Renetta or sometimes other designers that have been doing awesome with their businesses. It might come like this, it might be a YouTube video, it might be a Periscope, but whatever it is, we're hoping to be able to give you either new designers or designers that have been with the company a long time some quick tidbits. So I'm going to jump right in. This week we're going to be talking about events, and today I'm just going to go over a few basics of what we like to train on events. Events are a really great way to get out there and connect with people, create relationships with them, and have a new customer base. I hear so many times designers saying, my friends and family won't book parties for me. My friends and family won't buy from me. What am I doing wrong? Why can't I get them to buy from me? I say stop. Stop trying to force your product on your friends and family and branch out. Meet people, whether you do mommy and me events or groups or things like that, but a great way to do it is to get into events, big or small. And tomorrow we're going to talk about what types of events to look for and what not to look for, which is actually sometimes even more of an indicator of how good the event is going to be if it's not a good event. But today I just wanted to give a few ideas. So I want to tell you one thing about events is that you're going to see a lot of people if it's a good event. And the most important thing to do is to get their information, because there are so many different things that you can do once you have their information. You can add them to your O2 mailing list, and then Origami Owl is going to always send out the customer specials to them, and they might come up later and purchase something even if they don't purchase from your table that day. Another thing they might do that you can do is you can send out more information on hosting or joining or the outlet program or fundraisers. So many different things that you can connect with people on after the fact. So getting their information is of utmost importance so that you can follow up with them later. And we're going to talk about follow-up on Wednesday or Thursday. So concerning stock, that's one of the biggest questions that we get is, how can I do events if I just started and I don't have a lot of money to get a stock? That is a great question. To do events, the answer is, to do events, you do not have to have a huge stock. I'm going to tell you a story, and my team probably knows this story and they're sick of it. But when I very first started Origami Owl, almost 2 years ago, at actually about this time during the year, I had my starter kit. I had never been to a jewelry bar before, and I decided to just jump in and sign up for all these different events. And I had no clue what was a good event or a bad event. I just went. And one of them was at this woman's house. She had several different vendors at her house, and she actually had a great house right across from the community center that was having a huge craft fair that day. So we ended up getting some of the traffic because of papers on the cars that she left out, and then also stakes saying, oh, there's more over there at this lady's house. So it was fun. It was super informal, which was exactly what I needed, being a fresh 2-week-old owl that I was. And I just set up my stuff. I didn't have this crazy setup or anything, and all I had was my 149 kit, and I stood there proud of my company, even I didn't even know everything about it or all the products. I just knew it was cool, and I knew about the lockets and I knew about the charms. So when, the few people that trickled in through the house, I told them about it, and I told them how cool it was to be able to tell your own story with the, compared to now, few amount of charms that we had. So from that, I don't think I had much sales, but I loved it because I was able to share the basics, the lockets and the charms, with everyone that walked through. And about a month later, I get a call from this woman, and she says, I want to book a party. And she was kind of cold, and I didn't really know how to take her, and I actually had went off to college about 4.5 hours away from home, and she was like, I want to book a party on February 2nd at 6 p.m. And I was like, okay. I was kind of almost afraid of her because she was so just straight up. And when I first met her at the event, she was pretty cold and she didn't really show much interest, but I still gave her my card, and she called me and said she wanted to have this party. I didn't say no. I just said okay. So I drove home for it, and speaking of, the gas is a write-off because I went home specifically for a jewelry bar and drove that way. And she had a $1,000 party, and off of that I booked 3 or 4 $1,000 parties. She's been an amazing customer, and all of her friends and her friends' friends that I booked from have also been great customers and even friends now. So that is my story about doing an event without a huge amount of stock. You don't have to have it. So the other thing about having stock is it might look like you've had so much popularity that you've sold out of different things and so that's not a bad idea. And then another thing is, what I want to say to you is, if you've been in the company for quite a while and you don't have a big stock, I say maybe you need to look at the way you're placing your orders differently. Any type of personal orders from friends or family should always be placed on your own personal jewelry bar, and you should always be cashing in on those free Hostess rewards, and you should be filling your table with that. If you do, you will have 100% profit margin as long as you're charging tax on those items rather than the 30 to 50%. I do this all the time. I actually have a $300 to cash in on. I just hit $1,000 with my jewelry bar a month or 2 ago, and I haven't cashed in on my rewards yet. But so you should be doing that. There's no reason why you shouldn't. And when you do, a lot of people ask, what should I stock up on? I say you need to have a lot of people love the charms. And when people come up to your table and they ask, I have one of these, a lot of people will have lockets and a lot of people won't, or have never heard of Origami Owl. But if they have, they may already have a locket, and those onesie twosie charm orders that they make and take with them they really add up. And so it's nice to have the charms that people just want to add 1 or 2 to their locket. And it's great to be able to say, I have a lot of the new charms that just came out, and so they can look through those, whether it's a Scrubs charm or another birthstone from another baby that was added to the family, a lot of things like that. So I would recommend getting the basics, the lockets and the charms. You don't need a ton of anything other than that stuff, like watches. All of that stuff is icing on the cake. You don't have to think that you have to have 6 watches or 42 different of every chain. Like, you don't need that stuff. Just go back to the basics of the lockets and the charms. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is, one more thing I wanted to say about that was, if it's on your table, just sell it. There's nothing holding it to you. Sell it off of your table and reorder it if that's what you want to do. There's no reason why you should be like, this is, I only have 6 lockets and I really don't want to sell this one to you. And you can tell she doesn't want to make an order because then nobody else can see it throughout the day, this gold locket. No, just sell it. Let it go. If that person is willing to make an order or is willing to buy it from you right there, sell it to her and let her love it and let her come back to you later as a happy customer. So that is what I wanted to say. And then as far as a 30-second commercial, I'm just going to give you a little bit here. And then later this week, Renetta and I are getting together and we are going to do some role playing and things like that as far as what I would do if somebody came up to the table and what she would do. The first question that we like to ask is, have you seen Origami Owl, rather than have you heard of Origami Owl? Because that way someone is going to come up and you're going to be able to show them if they have not seen it yet. So, have you seen Origami Owl? Yes. Oh, do you have a locket? If they do, ask them what's in it. A lot of times it's birthstones and it was a gift. That happens a lot. If they say, no, I've never seen Origami Owl. Oh, well, let me show you. We have a lot to choose from, and what we do is we just point them straight to the lockets and the charms and tell them how they can tell their story with these meaningful charms that they can put in the lockets. And I say, we have all different types of lockets and that you can do, and I explain the twist locket because that's my first sale that I want to make, and I show them the versatility of being able to switch out the faces once they understand the basics of, look at all these really cool charms that have to do with your hobbies or your birthstones of your kids or all different things. And so that's basically what I do. Once they're looking around the table, if they see the wrap bracelets and they love them, I'll explain that to them. But I want them to go to the basics. That's what's going to be meaningful to people, and that's what they're going to latch onto first, not just a pretty watch for the most part, because what differentiates us is the lockets. So that's my tips, my quick tips for events. Tune in. Tomorrow we're going to talk about what types of events that we want to look for and not look for. On Wednesday, we are going to be talking about drawing slips and follow-up and what to expect from events. Thursday, we're going to talk about what to do if you're going in with other designers. And then Friday, we're going to set up our design stations, which is a big secret. But it's Renetta's way that she does her events and setup, and it's awesome. And it works extremely well for her. So we're going to demonstrate that and talk about that. So be sure to tune in this week. We hope you guys enjoy it. Please leave us any feedback or questions that you have, and we would be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.